Hey guys, this week for Weapons Wednesday, we're going to look at some of our metal bow staves. But before we begin, if you could just like this video and subscribe to our channel, that would be awesome. So about 10 years ago, we started manufacturing our own weapons, and we were using things like aluminum, steel, polycarbonate, acetal, all sorts of different materials to see what we could manufacture that was slightly different than the traditional martial arts weapons. And one of the things we came up with is these handmade steel bow staves. And if you look at it, it looks like it's a solid piece of steel, but it's actually hollow down the center. So it's not as heavy as it would be if it was just a long steel rod. But it's got this nice machine grip. We actually hand make all these in back. And this has a nice machine grip, so you're not gonna slip at all when using it. It's actually really, really comfortable to use. And I just really like the design. We've changed the design a few times over the years, and this is probably my favorite one that we've come up with. So that's our steel bow staff. We also carry this high strength aluminum bow staff. And it's got the same design on it, the same threading pattern down the side. And it's got the same, like it's still hollow, but it looks solid. But it's much lighter. This 5-foot one right here is probably just over 2 pounds, so about identical to a wooden bow staff, but it just feels so nice. And these things are strong too. I mean, really strong. We did a video a little while back, about 4 years ago, where I was using the steel bow staff and one of our other employees was using the aluminum one. And we just went at it with these staves just to see how durable they were when we were using them. Now you'll notice in this video that I'm a little better shape, a little bit younger, but enjoy the video and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Okay, so you'll notice in the video that we didn't hold back at all when striking these bow staves against each other. In fact, if you looked at them afterwards, the steel one hardly had any markings on it at all. You could probably take some steel wool and just shine it right up. But the aluminum one did end up having some markings in the end, but it didn't have any dents or anything. It was just like slight dings in the metal. So considering it's aluminum, it actually held up really, really nicely. Now there's advantages and disadvantages to each of them. Let's just look at the steel one first. The major advantage to the steel one is that it's extremely strong, and then it has that extra weight to it, so you're actually building up your muscles as you're using it and getting stronger for when you go back to a wooden one. Now the major disadvantage to the steel one is that if you live in a humid environment, you might actually have some issues with rusting on it. So you actually have to maintain these similar to how you'd maintain a sword blade, where you add oil to it every once in a while just to keep it from rusting. Now we have two different versions of this. We have our standard steel version, and we actually have a black steel version as well, where we use a gun bluing to give it a nice dark tint that just makes it stand out really nicely. So that is our steel bow staff. Now with the aluminum bow staff, the main advantage is that it's light. It's about the same weight as a standard wooden bow staff, which is nice. And also, it's not going to rust on you, so you don't have to maintain it at all. Now the only disadvantage I can think of is that it's not quite as strong as the steel bow staff, but as you saw in the video, it can actually hold up to quite a bit of impact. And the last thing I want to show you guys is our 3-piece aluminum Eskrima staff. Now, one of my friends on YouTube actually asked me about this the other day, so I thought it would be fun to show it off a little bit. So we came up with this idea a while back, and what I like about it is it actually is a couple of weapons in one. It starts out with these two 26-inch Eskrima sticks. And if we look at it, it's the same type of thing where it's a nice, solid-looking Eskrima stick. It's made out of this high-strength aluminum, so it's actually going to be really durable for you. But you've got a center section that allows it to either be 5 foot or 6 foot. Let's just take a look at that really quick. So When you buy these, you have the option of choosing either a 5-foot or a 6-foot centerpiece. Now, we also have the option of choosing both of them, and that allows you to switch back and forth. So in order to put this together, we just take one of the Eskrima sticks and hook it to the top, and then the other Eskrima stick, we just hook it to the bottom. Now you'll notice we used a threaded connector instead of like a quick connect or something like that that we use on our other weapons. But the nice thing about the threaded connection is that it takes a little bit longer to hook on, but it's extremely solid when it actually is fully connected. So there, you can see that it's perfectly connected. There's no seam. It looks really nice, and that's going to maintain the durability you need when you're actually practicing your bow staff. So if we put these together, we've got a full 6-foot aluminum staff. What's nice about it is it's just as strong as our high-strength aluminum bow staff. And if you look at it, it just looks really, really beautiful. Like, it has that nice grip to it. And what I like the most about it is that now I have the ability to use both Eskrima sticks or a bow staff depending on what I'm working on during that day. But if you have any questions about any of these products that I showed off today, definitely leave them in the comments below. And make sure you check out KarateMart.com because we have all kinds of handmade weapons on there that are just really cool. So until next week, we'll see you Weapons Wednesday.